Daniel Hayes thought he was cleaning up the office when he fired the quiet intern. To him, she was invisible. Just another college kid making coffee and fixing spreadsheets. But what Daniel didn't know was that 3 hours earlier, that same intern had quietly purchased controlling ownership of the entire company. And the man who just fired her was about to lose everything. Daniel Hayes was exactly the kind of executive you picture when you hear the phrase corporate climber. Tailored suits, perfect presentations, a smile that appeared whenever the board walked into the room. But beneath that polished image was a reputation everyone in the office knew about. Daniel didn't lead people. He dominated them. Junior staff avoided him. Assistants rotated out of his department every few months. And interns? Interns were his favorite targets. Because they couldn't fight back. At least, that's what he believed. 3 months earlier, a new intern joined the firm. Emily Carter. Quiet. Observant. Never trying to impress anyone. While other interns fought for attention during meetings, Emily mostly listened. She took notes. She watched how people interacted. She noticed who respected employees, and who treated them like stepping stones. Daniel noticed her too. But not in the way she expected. To him, her silence meant weakness. And Daniel Hayes loved proving he was the most powerful person in the room. One morning during a strategy meeting, Daniel paused mid-presentation. He flipped through a report. Then suddenly frowned. Who prepared this financial summary? No one spoke. Until Emily quietly raised her hand. I helped compile it. Daniel slowly looked up. Oh, the intern. He held the paper up for everyone to see. Well, congratulations, Emily. You've managed to insert a calculation error into a document going directly to the board. Several employees shifted in their chairs. Emily looked at the number. Yes, she said calmly. I noticed that. Daniel laughed loudly. You noticed it? So you're aware you messed it up? The room went silent. Daniel leaned against the conference table. You know what the issue with people your age is? You think being quiet makes you intelligent. He tapped the report. But in this company, performance matters. If you can't contribute value, you don't belong here. A few executives glanced at each other. Something about the exchange felt uncomfortable. But Emily didn't argue. She didn't defend herself. She simply nodded once, which only convinced Daniel he had just proven his authority. The meeting continued. But several people noticed something strange. Emily wasn't embarrassed. She was observing. Almost like she was waiting for something. What Daniel didn't know was that earlier that same morning, across the city, inside a private investment office, Emily Carter had signed a series of acquisition papers. Not as an intern, but as the representative of a powerful investment group her family controlled. The firm Daniel worked for had been struggling for months. Stock values dropping. Leadership conflicts growing. So the investment group made a decision. Buy the company. Quietly. And Emily volunteered to handle the transition personally. Which is why she had taken the internship months earlier. She wanted to see the company culture from the inside. To understand exactly who should stay, and who shouldn't. Unfortunately for Daniel Hayes, he had just made that decision very easy. 2 hours after the meeting, Emily received an email. Report to Daniel Hayes' office immediately. When she walked in, Daniel didn't even look up from his computer. Close the door. She did. Daniel slid a document across the desk. I've decided to terminate your internship effective immediately. He leaned back confidently. This environment clearly isn't the right fit for you. Emily glanced down at the paper. Then back at him. Are you sure that's a good idea? Daniel smirked. I'm the department head. I decide what's a good idea. He pushed a pen toward her. Signed the termination acknowledgement. Emily looked at the document again. Then slowly reached into her bag. And pulled out a folder. She placed the folder on his desk. Daniel frowned. What's this? Something you should read before finalizing that decision. He opened it casually. At first he didn't understand what he was looking at. Legal forms. Corporate contracts. Shareholder transfer documents. But then he saw the company name. His company. And beneath it, a name repeated across multiple signatures. Emily Carter. Daniel's smile slowly disappeared. What, exactly am I looking at? Emily folded her hands calmly. You're looking at today's acquisition paperwork. Daniel blinked. Acquisition? Yes, the company was purchased this morning. Daniel flipped through the pages faster. His expression changed with every document. Majority shares transferred. Board authorization. Ownership structure. Then the final page. Majority shareholder. Emily Carter. Daniel stared at her. You're joking. Emily shook her head. No, at 9:12 a.m. this morning, my investment group finalized the purchase. Daniel felt his stomach drop. You own the company? Emily nodded slightly. Yes, and about 5 minutes ago, she glanced at the termination paper. You fired the person who signs your paycheck. Daniel stood up quickly. This isn't funny. It's not meant to be. You're an intern. I was. Daniel looked toward the glass office walls. Several executives were standing outside, watching. Some of them holding phones. Emails had already gone out. Company acquisition announcement. New ownership. And the name at the top of the message, Emily Carter. Daniel's voice dropped. You planned this. Emily finally stood up. I observed this company for 3 months. She stepped toward the door. Some leaders inspired people. Some built great teams. Then she looked directly at him. And some created hostile environments. Daniel suddenly realized something terrifying. Every word he said in the meeting earlier had witnesses. A knock came at the door. HR walked in. But they weren't looking at Emily. They were looking at Daniel. We've received multiple complaints regarding your conduct during today's meeting. Daniel turned to Emily. This is because of you. Emily shook her head. No, this is because of you. Security arrived minutes later. As Daniel was escorted out of the building, he turned back one last time. You set me up. Emily's response was calm. I gave you the opportunity to show who you really were. Later that afternoon, Emily held her first board meeting as the company's new owner. Her first decision? Remove leadership built on ego. And rebuild the company around respect and accountability. Because sometimes, the quietest person in the room is the one with the most power.